and it's a very exciting demo day come showcase for 2023, where we've got founders from Australia and New Zealand will be celebrating their completion of the Founder Institute program. And we are thrilled to be joined by two keynote speakers, Kevin Whitmore, who has been through the program, as well as Christopher Craner, who is the Director of Hardware Engineering at Zumo, very well-known electric bike company. So glad to be hearing from them in a moment. Today's proceedings are simple. We're going to hear a little bit about the Founder Institute. We'll talk a little bit about the next cohort, which is going to begin in February 2024. Yes, who could believe that it will be 2024 in just a few short sleeps? We'll turn to Kevin and Christopher, and then we'll hear a number of startup pitches from founders who have taken part in this program. I'm thrilled to be with you this afternoon from Sydney, and perhaps I'll move on to what is the Founder Institute and share a little bit about who we are and what we do. Before I do so, I want to mention Addison's, who is our legal partner in this region. Addison's is a well-known law firm who are extremely startup friendly. And one of our key advocates at Addison's is our startup mentor called Rebecca Dooley. So I want to give a shout out to them, who have been supporters of Founder Institute in Australia and New Zealand for the last few years. I'd also like to give a shout out to the associates, Maz Zaman, Bree Wood-Lambert, Julian Luca, and Alex Han. They have worked with Paul, Phoebe, Chris, and I behind the scenes to help bring the Founder Institute program to you. So I want to thank each of you. Thank you for going above and beyond, particularly when running those multiple sessions and helping coordinate all of the feedback from mentors. The local team in Australia and New Zealand is Phoebe Zhang, Paul Krajewski, and myself. Now, what is the Founder Institute? I would say that it is a worldwide network of mentors who are helping founders to build meaningful and enduring technology companies. There are wonderful programs that are involved in inspiring and educating. And then there are other programs where people need to be full-time. They need to be residents to unlock access to mentors. And plus, there's capital from all sorts of angel and venture capital investors. Founder Institute is a pre-seed accelerator. We allow founders who are part-time as well as full-time to gain initial traction and prepare their business, giving them lots of feedback from mentors so they can get ready for pre-seed funding. We're the #1 place in the world that can help founders turn ideas into fundable startups and startups into global businesses, and the numbers speak for themselves. What I believe makes Founder Institute different is it is a hard program. When mentors come, they are asked to rate founders out of 5, or 1, 2, a 4 or 5, and there are no 3s allowed. This is because we want to give founders real feedback real early. We want founders to complete their deliverables, to get high mentor ratings over time, and less than 40%, in fact, in this current program, less than 30% have made it through, and it's by design. Getting feedback, if you're going down a rabbit hole and you want to keep going down that rabbit hole, it means that by having the opportunity, having the tough conversation earlier, you can hopefully spend your time on activities that are going to be more useful. And in fact, earlier this week, I caught up with Benjamin Rank, who helped bring the Founder Institute to Australia back in 2011, 2012, and he was sharing how the thinking and the discipline of the Founder Institute has helped him over the course of his business career since 2011, 2012. And guess what? I think his wife is going to be joining our next program. At Founder Institute, we have 2 tracks. We have the launch track, which is focused on earlier idea stage founders. And you can see there's a lot of emphasis on product development, on getting the branding and design right, and thinking about this go-to-market through the sales and customer acquisition. This is contrasted with the growth track, where there is a greater emphasis on investor preparation, getting the KPIs and growth plan right, generating traction, because the growth track tends to have people who are shipping product. What do we do at the Founder Institute? We find great people, we give them a devoted and global support network, we put them through a structured growth process, and we aim to provide them with a lifetime of support. So that means that the founders that you'll see later tonight, they will get access to the Founder Lab. They'll get access to the FI Venture Network, which means that in the Founder Lab, they'll be able to focus on getting their product market fit right. They'll be able to go through a program to link them up with funding. And for those who already have funding, boom, they'll be able to go through a program to close their Series A venture capital funding. That is the Founder Institute core program and what we do afterwards. We have a proven process, we're highly structured, and one of the most important things we do is like giving feedback early and with a high degree of frequency, because we think feedback allows for you to make improvements to your business faster. The next program is going to be running early next year. We have orientation in the middle of February, because it's a short month. We have our final deadline 2 days after Australia Day. It's a Sunday, the 28th of January. And we have our early deadline end of this week. So if you're interested in learning more about the Founder Institute, please hit up Paul or I. Would love to chat with you. Reach out to us, drop us an email. We can arrange a time for a detailed conversation.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. Kia ora, everybody. First, I'd just like to congratulate everybody that's graduating in terms of the businesses. I think that's awesome. Just remembering back 2 years to when I was going through a similar process, and I remember, I guess, the relief at getting to the end and how hard it all worked. So yeah, just really wanted to say congratulations. I know you will have put in a lot of work as well, and the odds that you have to battle to get there. So yeah, congratulations. If I remember, our cohort had something like 500 applications, 50 people that got into the process, and 6 that graduated, or something to that effect. And I see that you've got roughly 5 companies, so it's quite a remarkable kind of feat to go through, and definitely give yourselves credit for what you've done, but definitely take some time as well over the end of year period, because founder burnout is a thing, and I know how hard people work, and recovery is really important. So forget about all the 1s and the 5s and the epics and the pitching for a little bit, and just take the time to celebrate, because often we don't, and we need to do that. So I've just got a few pieces of advice, and these are just reflections over the last 2 years of launching and working on Cash Bucket. So the first one, and I think this is probably the most important, is it's a thing I had to learn quite quickly, was how to flip from pitching into always listening mode. And when I say that, my first take on sales, or at least how I should be doing sales with customers, was pitching to them. And what I quickly learned was the difference between the initial research, I guess, phase of what you do through the Founder Institute, is you're asking people advice, you're listening, you're seeing if your product, your solution has validity. And I got a lot of feedback through that was really, really useful, and people were really willing to give their time and to help. When I flipped into sales mode, which I thought was convincing people about my product, I quickly learned that is definitely not the right way to do sales. If I flip back to more of a process of listening to what the customer's challenges are, having empathy for what they're going through, and really building that trust with them, that was probably the biggest learning curve for me, was coming out of a phase where I didn't know sales, and so don't always just go in with pitch mode. Go in with your listening ears and build that empathy. The second one would be to explore your problem and make sure you're in love with it. If we weren't in love with our problem, over the last 2 years, I can tell you there's numerous times that we will have given up. And that's not falling in love with your solution, that's falling in love with the problem. That's really important. So one way to tell if you're in love with your problem is to envisage dropping your product or your solution entirely and coming up with another way to solve that problem, and see if you're still as fired up about that problem as you are at the moment. So that's one way to identify it. But yeah, if you're not in love with your problem, it will definitely challenge you along the way, as there are things that will come into question. One of the things, I ran an investor panel this morning, and one of the investors said one of the 3 things that they look out for in terms of investments is they termed it a burning desire to solve a problem. If you don't have that burn within you, then that's not normally a business that they will invest into. The third piece of advice would be don't quit your day job. I know there are types of people that when their back is up against the wall, they will respond, and that's great. If you're one of those people, then identify that. But I know, talking to the rest of the cohort from 2 years ago, we're all quite glad that we've kept our day jobs, because funding things is really important. And if you're bootstrapping, and if you're working towards capital raises, etc., you want to have that runway to be able to deliver and continue on your companies. And that feeds into probably point number 4, which is capital raising is really hard at the moment. So don't rely or necessarily feel like you have to go down that path. I did see a statistic the other day that said that similar amounts of capital are being invested each year on year at the moment, but that amount of capital is not necessarily finding its way into seed raises as often now. They're often investments into reinvestments into the same companies. So just be aware of the macro environment. Be aware that there's not as much capital floating around. And the other point, I think, is investors are looking for traction, right? So although a lot of people sort of say, well, I need the investment to get going, if one of the criteria in terms of getting investment is proving traction, and there's a chicken and egg type scenario, often the answer is just to keep pushing ahead, getting that traction, and going from there, and making your business as enticing as possible. The next point would be to take all your timelines and costs and double them. It takes longer than you think. And I'd also triple them just for contingency. So bank on a double cost and timeline. And then in terms of contingency and runway, give yourself a little bit more. In terms of equity, also as well, just take a balanced approach. I remember some people in our cohort doing the sums on 5% equity at a $10 million valuation and hesitating. Your company is not worth $10 million at the moment. It requires a lot more effort to get to that point. So don't overvalue things at this point. And equally, don't undervalue them as well. And by that, I mean, especially in New Zealand, we have quite a few startups that end up taking angel money at a poor valuation. And when they go offshore to raise further rounds, often the investors are hesitant to invest in them because the founders are so diluted. So it's a balanced approach, leveraging equity in terms of making smart value-based decisions, not overvaluing it, not undervaluing it. Advice number 7 would be determined. So lots of things are going to go wrong. There'll be ups and downs. You're creating something new, which is hard. So the biggest quality that you can have is just to keep going, not to give up. And point number 8 would be find people that complement you with real world skills. So in areas where you're missing something, if it's UX and design, or front end, if you're building a digital product, marketing, sales, building out your network and accessing people that can help you in specific areas is really, really important. Bring them onto your team. If you don't know, or if you don't have them within your network, one option is also to go out to places like Upwork. We leverage Upwork for interviewing people as well. So we'll take them, we'll pay them for sitting an interview, sitting a technical exam. And it's almost like a hiring process, but through a contract platform. So that's been really, really helpful as well. Probably the last point is the theory and the reality are very different. So obviously your scenario is different to everybody else's. So just have conviction, get good people around you, and they will help you to deliver your product. I guess the start of our journey was I used to run a fintech in Singapore, and up until $1 million in revenue, I could pretty much do the business in my head. It was all pretty straightforward. Sometimes used a spreadsheet. Up until 2 million, 3 million, things got really hard. And we got to a point where there was lots of stop-start contracts, salaries going up and down. Everything was kind of changing and moving, and there was no single burn rate for the company anymore. So we actually got into a bit of trouble financially, and we ended up building the first version of Cash Bucket at that point. And it really helped us turn the company around in terms of finding financial clarity for the business. And so since coming back to New Zealand, I've spoken to lots of startups and founders, and they've voiced a similar concern in terms of their businesses and their complexity. So we took the product through Founder Institute and built the product out. And this is where we're at today. So yeah, essentially this product allows us to create a plan that is, I can hand to our bookkeeper and say, live on this. If anything deviates, we want to sit down and know about it. And it will help you go through a process of following your cash and ensuring that your business is safe and secure and you can sleep well at night. These are the areas it helps with. So it helps to improve financial control, increase accuracy, and navigate uncertainty, and for businesses to make better decisions. This is a bit of our customer feedback to date, which has been fantastic. This is our team, and 75 years total in terms of finance-related positions, which has been great to work with. And I highly recommend all of these people have brought additional skills to the table, and we've leveraged that as a team, which has been fantastic. And our board as well was something we put together during the Founder Institute, and they've been fantastic as well. Again, just leveraging gaps that we have in terms of the technology, the sales, and the finance space has been fantastic. And if you want, we've got a fantasy board as well, where you can design your own board. If you want a template of that, I'm very happy to lend that to people as well. And yeah, the only ask from me is if you've got any introductions to businesses experiencing rapid growth or financial complexity, we'd love to help them out. So that's Cash Bucket in a nutshell. Probably just to wind it all up, my only comment would be congratulations. So enjoy tonight, enjoy the end of year period, and look to build momentum through to 2024. I hope you all have an epic 2024, not that sort of epic. And if there's anything I can do, please reach out. Happy to help.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Kevin, for sharing your insights as well. And Benjamin, thank you very much for the introduction to the Founder Institute. Sounds even interesting for me. So maybe I should look into the program as well. Hello, everyone. So my name is Christopher Kreiner. Thanks for the introduction, Paul. A bit about myself. I am approximately 15, probably now even 20 years in the area of product development and connected devices. I wouldn't call myself a product manager or project manager, rather an innovation expert. I was working like literally across all sort of functions. And like most of you, or actually all of you, of the founders who are graduating today, I'm essentially a co-founder at night. So during the day, I work as a full-time product and engineering director at Zumo, which is a micromobility startup here in Sydney. But I just recently started my side venture with my co-founder, Nila Rezai, and we called it the RK Collective. The motivation for me to start something new was essentially I'm now reaching the point of 39, 40, close, you know. It's the moment in life where you think about what you want to do with the rest of your life. And for me, it was clear that I really want to focus on building products which just improve our lives, particularly on the social and on the environmental aspect. There's one thing what I want to share later on as well in terms of learning. But before I go to the next slide is I met my co-founder Nila when I was working together with her at Zumo. So I was building up the engineering, the design team there, and I hired essentially my design lead. And there is one thing what I have learned now throughout my entire career, and this is if you come across good people, you need to hold on to those guys. Good people are so rare to find. I think throughout my career I met a couple of, but I never had really like the courage or the guts to say, hey, come on, let's do something. But in this situation now, very different. I think with Nila, I found a fantastic design person, one of the best industrial designers I was just ever working together with. And then I just thought like, now it's the moment in time, let's just do something. We don't quite know we don't really know what the product should be in first place, but we knew it makes sense to work together. And that's why we kicked off RK Collective, which essentially aims to design or combine all her business expertise with my humble business expertise. So we essentially kicked off our first project, what we call Crafted Liberation. So we were thinking like, what could we do in the area of social design? What could we do in order to improve the social aspect of our planet? And my co-founder Nila is Iranian by background. And as you're probably aware of, there's a lot of women's oppression going on in Iran. And this is like in the 21st century. So we thought like, this is now the right moment in time to essentially raise an awareness campaign. So our product is an awareness campaign. And we were thinking and brainstorming, how do you tell a good story? And essentially came up with this idea, why don't we tell a story about women's oppression in Iran and pair that with really innovative material experimentation. So what we have done is we launched an Instagram call for action and said, hey, all the women in Iran, if you are not happy with the situation, what is going on right now, submit us your headscarf. And women in Iran don't have a lot of opportunities to essentially like protest against their oppression, because if women in Iran go on the streets, they essentially are taken into custody by what those guys they are called a morality police. So it's really dangerous for them, right? So we essentially enabled those women to act. And we got over like 15 kilos of headscarves delivered from like Iranian women all over the world, from Iran, obviously, from the US, from Europe, also from Australia. And what we have done is we turned those headscarves into a new material. So essentially, we work together with two manufacturing partners here in Sydney, and like literally pressed those headscarves together with waste plastic bags into new sheet material, and then we crafted stadium seats from it. And the reason why we crafted stadium seats from it is because Iranian women are banned from going into football stadium in Iran. It's a very ridiculous situation, but as a woman, you just cannot watch a football game there, right? So it's a stadium bucket seat, a stadium grandstand is a serious sign of oppression in Iran. So what we were thinking is, we are asking these women to submit their headscarves. We are pressing that into a new material. We are turning that into that grandstand, which is actually a sign of oppression, and then turn that into a beacon of empowerment. And that was the whole storyline, what we essentially presented. What you see here on the slide is essentially like one of those bucket seats, what we created then, and we put them on a great stadium grandstand. And we launched this product, which is an exhibition overseas at the Dutch Design Week in the Netherlands. The reason why we have chosen the Dutch Design Week in the Netherlands is because we wanted to essentially create the biggest impact with the smallest amount of dollars spent. And the Dutch Design Weeks in the Netherlands have approximately 350,000 visitors. You have got a lot of fellow designers who are interested in the topic of social design, and you have like a very specific audience which goes there to stimulate their minds as well in this direction. So it seemed for me and actually to us the ideal place to launch a product. So we have done that essentially, and this is how it then looked at the end. So we fabricated those seats and the banners as you see them, and those materials, or here in Australia. Part of it we shipped with DHL over to the Netherlands. Part of it we took in our hand luggage all the way to Amsterdam, took the train down to Eindhoven. Definition of bootstrapping, by the way, if you are like having 80 kilos of exhibition in your kind of hand luggage and checked in luggage. Rocked up there, probably the most unprofessional ones, because most of the other exhibitors like hired, professional tradespeople, etc. So we did it all by ourselves, but this is how it looked at the end, and was fantastic. We got the best spot in the hall, and we had approximately 20,000 people over 10 days, essentially speaking to us, looking at this exhibition, and we had an opportunity to essentially like present that over 10 days. And what I would like to do next is I would like to present you the key learnings. And I tried to summarize that in like 6 key points. First key learning for me was clearly, if you do a project like that, you need to leverage your network where you can. And in order to be able to leverage your network, you need to have one. And I think what I'm really guilty of is, I've got a day job and I'm super consumed by it, right? You're doing it with 100% passion, right? You really often forget about like following up or maybe calling someone, hey, let's go for a coffee. My learning and my advice would be, you have to do it. You need to take this time out of your day, nurture your network, build your network. It's just an important part, because if you need your network, it has to be there. And we were really lucky that particularly my co-founder, Neela, had really good connections to 2 fabricators here in Sydney. I had a bunch of people in the Netherlands, because I was living there before, who were immediately willing to help us. And there was a very, like for me, a fascinating experience, how much you can bootstrap your journey if you just involve your network into your journey. I think that's also one of the big advantages, what I understand, if you team up here with the Founder Institute. So I fully agree with what Benjamin and Paul said at the beginning. It's an aspect which is just not to underestimate. The second part is use available fundings where possible. Believe it or not, there is funding for everything. There is even funding for artistic projects, like we exhibited here. We reached out to New South Wales Arts, and they sponsored our project with $5,000. Took me 2 weeks, or took us 2 weeks to write up that application. That was a very thorough progress. So I think every dollar was very hard earned. And sometimes I thought actually maybe I should chuck it in from my private budget, but I thought like it was an important thing to go through. And I was very positively surprised how positive the funding landscape, even for such products, is there. My third product, and this was a really interesting one, is I was, and I'm still convinced about the cause, the positive impact of our product. I just did not know in which direction does this product go afterwards. That was a bit of an unclear thing for me. And I was super positive surprised when we finished and wrapped up Dutch Design Week, and we made a list of in which direction can we bring this product now. So we acquired a variety of B2B leads. We had like people from cultural institutions coming to us, like museums. It's like, we are just remodeling our museum. We would love to have your exhibition in there for a certain period of time. We had a dude from Japan rocking up and said like, yeah, those chairs, they absolutely have to be in our food court. There was a guy coming from rail and transportation. He was a bit more interested in the material innovation side. It's like, this is great for public transport, buses and trains. We had this one guy rocking up from the interior industry and just asked, how much do I want to have for 100 of those seats? He wasn't interested in the story at all. He couldn't care less about the narrative, but he was really captivated by the fact that every chair was looking different. And I didn't have an answer on that. That was probably not a good thing. I should have probably done a bit more homework. But at the end of the day, we got such a range of potential follow-ups, which kind of really blew my mind. I didn't know that this will have such a great impact and create so much clarity after product launch. So that's a very positive thing for us. as I said at the beginning, we launched our collective with the idea to probably be a bit more on the consulting side, supporting others with socioeconomic and environmental problems. But now we have clearly 3-4 really strong product directions as well. There's another learning which I want to emphasize here, and this is that hard deadlines really drive progress, particularly if someone else comes to you and creates those deadlines for you. When we applied for Dutch Design Week, they came back and said, like, you know, guys, it's a great project. We don't necessarily think that you are there yet, which was true because we conceptualized it out. So we submitted a bunch of renders. So they gave us deadlines. They said they want to see what's the project progress on the 15th of August. They want to get a full PR package by 1st of September because it has to go online in 2 different languages. They wanted to see floor planning. And we just had to work in accordance with that. And I think the biggest deadline for us was the plane was literally leaving on the 16th of October at I think 9:40 or something like that. And you can't miss that one. We started with our project in August and essentially delivered that in 3 months. Had a lot of like panic moments. If someone would have asked us, probably do we want to have another month? We would have said probably yes. But in retrospect, all the people who were looking very close to the product kind of got the idea that, you know, it's not 100% finished yet, but we can work together if you're really interested in. So no matter what it was judgmental or said like, not good enough, you know, why are you here? You shouldn't be here, which was great. Then a 5th key learning, big eye opener for me as well, which was that fellow exhibitors might become your customer. So as you essentially exhibit your product there, you're walking around and you're introducing yourself. At a certain moment in time, you're best friend with everyone. So it might be that something comes out here. We are now exploring opportunities of working together. Very unexpected lead funnel, I guess, but was a very great experience, particularly because you have almost like, you know, a couple of days to build a good relationship, and then the tone changes very much from transactional to talking about what are the shared problems and how can you help each other. And the last key learning, and I found that personally really interesting. I like the design space, but I'm not a product designer by myself. I learned about the discipline of speculative design. So there are heaps of people out there, designers who envision the future and then they put a scenario of the future in place. For instance, there was this one guy who envisioned like there's a nuclear war in Europe and we want to maintain our lifestyle. How would nuclear-proof products look like? So very abstract, but embedded into objects. Very interesting. And I didn't know that this is a thing, speculative design. But I thought actually this is really interesting way of framing your future product, perhaps, because you can also with your future product essentially like start to speculate of like how would the world look in 3 or 5 years, and how might the problem change, and how might my product essentially like fit into this changed problem space. Yeah, so those were I guess my 6 key points. The 7 was the one what I mentioned at the beginning. And this is a key learning. What I would like to really emphasize is if you come across good people in your career, hold on to those guys, kick off a business with them, and if you can't, then at least keep going for coffee drinking, because a big network and a good network is everything. Yeah, I think that's it pretty much from me. So I would really appreciate if you could follow us on Instagram. The handle is crafted_liberation. We don't have an Instagram page yet for RK Collective. This is still in the making. I'm just updating our LinkedIn profile as well. So in the meanwhile, I would appreciate if you just follow me, Christopher Kreiner, or my co-founder, Nila Resai. And I really want to offer, never hesitate to reach out. I'm a physical hardware product development guy. So if there's anything in that specific space, just hit me up like anytime. Happy to share my network or my experience with any one of you. That's it pretty much. Thank you very much.
Hey everyone, good to see you. All right, I'll start with my 1-minute pitch. According to ASIC, every day 2 Australian construction companies collapse. prompting the need for significant cost-cutting measures. Construction materials account for 50 to 60% of total project costs. Since 2020, prices have surged by 40%. This, coupled with the time-consuming and difficult task of finding compliant substitute products, poses a critical problem for builders. Subic steps in as a solution. We've constructed a platform designed to help builders connect to cost-effective and compliant products. Subic enables builders to save at least 10% on material costs through direct procurement management. It's not just a tool, it's a key ally in project success, saving a total of 5 to 6 hours per week. We compete in the growing construction market, which last year had a value of $7 trillion globally. Our business model is based on builders and suppliers paying a subscription fee to access and use the platform. We charge a transaction fee for every successful product purchased. I'm looking for a technical co-founder and seeking a seed round of $600,000 to implement our go-to-market strategy and staff hiring. As I reflect on completing Founders Institute and embarking on the journey to start Subix, the sense of achievement is tempered with the excitement of what lies ahead. The program has equipped me with invaluable insights, skills, and a network that will undoubtedly shape the trajectory of Subix. The journey from ideation to launching our minimum viable product is both exhilarating and challenging. The program not only provided a solid foundation, but also instilled in me the confidence to navigate the complexities of the entrepreneurial landscape. Building Subix is more than just creating a platform. It's about addressing real challenges in the construction industry. The construction sector is notorious for its intricacies, and Subix emerges as a solution to source cost-effective products, streamline product approvals, and bring efficiency to traditionally cumbersome processes. The transition from theory to practice is where the rubber meets the road, and Subix is poised to make a tangible impact. Therefore, my business North Star, or the metric I'm going to meet, is $1 million in annual recurring revenue in 18 months. The program emphasized the importance of resilience, adaptability, and continuous learning, qualities that are fundamental in the startup ecosystem. This was illustrated when I had to change my idea a week before the first progress review. I was able to pass with a fun, epic sprint waiting for me on the other side. The support received from mentors, fellow entrepreneurs, and the broader ecosystem has been instrumental. It reinforces the belief that Subix is not just my endeavor, it's a shared vision to bring positive change to the construction sector. As I navigate the early stages of Subix, I carry with me the lessons learned, the relationships forged, and the passion to overcome challenges. It's a thrilling chapter, and I am eager to see Subix evolve into a transformative force in the construction industry, a testament to the Founders Institute journey from ideation to startup inception.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bee Lim. I'm a clinical psychologist, a private psychology clinic owner, and also the co-founder of Bichun. We are at the forefront of a global mental wellness movement. Bichun merges peer review, evidence-based therapies with engaging mobile gaming, making mental health care an intuitive, seamless part of everyday life. I want you to consider this. Half of us here today will face a mental health disorder at some point in our life. In a bustling $19.5 billion digital mental health market, Bichun stands out by making mental health accessible, engaging, and effective. Through organic growth, our landing page has seen a 1,600% spike in interest, and also with a 16% conversion rate. We are also partnering with Project Blackbird in the US next year by bringing an early release of our product to over $80,000 college students in the US. We're not just dreaming of a world where mental wellness is intuitive, we're actively building it. Our team's blend of clinical expertise and also award-winning game development is revolutionizing mental health care. We're asking for connections to full-stack developers and also angel investors in the health tech space. Together, let's make Bichun a game changer in mental wellness, reaching every individual one game, one mind at a time. Thank you. I entered Founders Institute thinking about turning a garage project, the Bichun games, into something that's going to be helpful and going to serve a purpose for my patients. But I think like entering the Founder Institute have really helped me think very specifically, very concretely about how that impact or reach will look like. Something that was really memorable through this, I think I really agree with what all the other founders are saying, is that hard deadlines really make progress. So the intensive review, the epic sprint, and the resulting insights have really shaped Bichun's marketing and communication strategies, ensuring that they are more aligned with our user needs and preferences. And the lessons from that five days of sprint also really guided adjustments in our messaging, establishing our credibility, and also looking at our pricing strategy. I really want to thank all the local chapter leaders, but also the mentors as well, in terms of providing guidance, being generous with their time, and really helping us looking at product validation and also market entry. Mentors have provided practical applications, including feedbacks, mechanisms, and also business modeling as well, which really significantly shaped Bichun's strategic direction. I want to thank my fellow working group members for finding time in their busy schedule as well to talk through different issues and different challenges that we face as founders. And I want to say that the Founders Institute program have really equipped us with tools and insights that's necessary to create a sustainable business model, ensuring that our products can make the intended impact and reach. And this really includes clearer understanding of target markets, revenue streams, customer acquisition tactics, and also strategies for scalability. So joining Founders Institute marked a pivotal step in developing Bichun, and it really offered that structured guidance and that push that we need in terms of making the impacts that we intend for Bichun in the world. So thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Sharon and I'm the founder of One Pillar. My venture started for the need to develop sweat-resistant grip socks for reformer Pilates because there were no sweat-resistant grip socks available due to my excessive sweating, and no functional grip socks available either that weren't made with synthetic fibers. So our solution is simple: to design the perfect Pilates grip socks that were functional, that were useful, and that enabled enhancement to the user's performance, but also eludes confidence in the user as well during their exercise. Since then, we have validated our design based on customers' feedback, and as we can constantly develop our product and features based on consumer research. We've sold 1,000 pairs of grip socks in our first year from our test launch, with a 0% returns rate and 5-star rating. After validating our product, we ran a market research on our sock market size in Australia and discovered that there's no decline in purchasing socks from known clothing brands such as Bonds and Calvin Klein, although customers are still opting for affordable options such as value packs. From this market analysis, we found other companies who are also developing similar socks to ours, although they aren't sock companies. They're athleisure wear companies that develop socks as a secondary source. We're a sock first company, and that's how we differentiate ourselves against these big players. Our business model is based on our online sales with a 70% markup of our retail price, and our B2B structure through wholesale partnerships with Pilates studios and retailers. Our growth strategy can be defined as the following, which is to build a minimum viable product based on customer validation, then to refine our platform for user experience, as well as then to grow our user database, and essentially to then diversify our revenue streams through new product categories and sales channels. Right now, I'm currently the founder of the business with experience in e-commerce, data analysis and marketing, working with advisors in areas of where I'm not very strong in, although I do also have a head of sales partner who has experience in IT sales and business development. The dream is to make One Pillar the leading lifestyle brand within the Pilates community. With our values of functionality, design, and confidence, we will transform this industry one pillar at a time. I'm seeking business mentors in the retail partners in the wellness space to join me on my journey. In my experience here with the Founders Institute, I've come through with a greater awareness and understanding of what's required in building a business, as well as a pitch deck, but also having built a lot more of self-awareness and confidence in not only speaking in front of an audience, but having mentors with expert backgrounds and having to pitch in front of them. One of the most challenging experiences I've had was through our rapid pitch fire modules, where we had to pitch in front of many mentors back to back without a break in between. And I think that shock to my system gave me the confidence in knowing to not giving myself a moment to think twice, but to put myself out there and to gain that confidence of just a lot of the a lot of what I'm afraid of is all in my head. So this course has not only given me that self-confidence to come through on the better end of this journey, but also I now have a structured plan of what I'm going to work on following on from this course. I know now what I need to focus on, how to troubleshoot problems, how to brainstorm ideas, and also the opportunity to meet the fellow founders and mentors. Thank you, Paul and Ben, for your ongoing support and for pushing us and being direct with us when we needed to hear that the most. And also having made some great friends and connections along the way. My pledge to myself and for others is to create an environment that empowers others to be their best selves, and to offer a safe space at work where everyone is recognized for their individuality and unique talents.
Hi, this is Keen. We are building an AI tutor that makes quality tutoring affordable for all. I grew up in an underprivileged community in Hong Kong where education was our only way out. But without quality tutoring, which wasn't affordable, our chances of entering university were extremely slim. I was one of the lucky ones who could change the situation, but the majority couldn't. Today, as an experienced entrepreneur, I'm in the position to make a difference through an affordable, unlimited access AI tutor, which is tailored for different exams around the world. To start with, we custom trained our AI for the NEET syllabus, an Indian medical entrance exam, where tutoring is unaffordable to most. Now, imagine a world where a fair chance is given to everyone, no matter their family background. That's our mission. From a user's perspective, this is how our product works. First, students will join our online tutoring sections where the AI tutor will teach concepts using diagrams. And after finishing a topic, the AI tutor will provide quizzes to make sure the student have understood it well, and then the AI tutor will track the progress for the student. Second, AI tutor sends flashcards and questions through Telegram on the same topic to enhance memory retention for the student. Third, our student counselors will provide regular support and progress tracking the human touch. Currently, we are in beta testing with 100 users and have over 800 on the wait list. So that was about the product that we're building and the company that was building it. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to share my pledge to myself and also my experience of going through this Founder Institute program. In the next few months, we have set goals for ourselves to achieve so we can take steps to actually make an impact on the world. First, we would like to get our products ready for open beta testing with 1,000 weekly active users. That means we have to significantly improve our product, and it has to be somewhat intuitive to use, also bugs-free. We also want to achieve positive organic growth in the next few months, no matter how small the number is. We would like to see at least 25% of retention rate after 4 weeks of obtaining a user. Finally, we aim to get into a startup accelerator that offers some initial investments. At the end, I would like to thank Paul and Benjamin for their constant support throughout the program. I will feel empty from next week on working without your support. For me, the Founder Institute program was amazing. It was like watching a walkthrough video on YouTube before you play a game. You can still play the game without watching a walkthrough video, but if you want to get to a certain point quickly without wasting too much time and energy, in this case, money as well, having a walkthrough video and seeing other people's comment on the video is really going to help you to save resources. I would also like to thank all the mentors who have rated us 1 to 2 out of 5. Those honest, brutal feedbacks were extremely important for us to grow and stay on the right track. And I would like to thank those mentors who have given us 4 or 5 out of 5. Going through this program makes me realize how difficult it is to achieve that mark from an experienced mentor or investor. The bar is so high that it means a great honor for us to achieve such positive feedbacks. But I understand in the real world, users are even a lot more brutal than any mentor in any program. If they don't understand or like our product in the first 10 seconds, they will close it and never come back. So having gone through the Founder Institute program set me on the right path, and I could see the future steps to success. Now, my team and I are dedicated to walk through each steps to achieve the great outcome that we dream of.
My name is Gaurav. I'm really passionate about helping people find jobs. And my company, Job Seeker Circle, is developing an online networking platform to help skilled migrant job seekers build their professional network and help them with their job search. We'll be doing this by creating a community for job seekers and making it easier for them to meet other professionals on a 30-minute one-on-one call, which will be based on, of course, their profile and skill set. They will also get practical help via curated events and resources around resume writing, interview preparation, and topics associated with the job search process. There are about 170,000 skilled migrants coming to Australia every year, and that is where we want to start. But then later take it overseas by targeting the 2.5 million Indian skilled migrants moving to different parts of the world every year. Currently, I'm looking for a technical co-founder and advisors who have built community-based platforms. Now, before I talk about sort of Founders Institute, I would like to congratulate all my fellow founders who are graduating with me today. I think we all know the journey that we have had this, and I know the effort that you have put into coming this place. So congratulations to all of you. When I started the Founders Institute, my company name was something else. I was just a job search mentor. I was trying to sell my consulting services and, sort of thinking that is a startup. The core program and the mentors helped me understand how, if I really want to make a huge impact, which of course I want to, I will have to grow fast and like a startup. So it was all about going after hard goals and seek the right help at the right time and make optimum use of resources to achieve those goals. I'm very happy that I went for this program. But more than that, I'm really proud of myself for what I have achieved by showing that I have the grit to create an idea like Job Seeker Circle through which I can help thousands of job seekers find the right roles efficiently. When I attended the first mentor idea review session, that was a turning point for me. While I was serious about the program and the idea until then, the mentor idea review just completely opened my eyes, gave me a new direction. I was actually put on an epic sprint, which is sort of an extra homework, if you like, in our terminology in this program. But that is where I had to go back and sort of go to the drawing board and identify various business models for my idea. And from there on, sort of my focus completely changed. I was convinced that I have got a business on hand. I'm still quite sort of early in the journey, but this program has truly given me the confidence to go full distance now and make a successful startup out of the Job Seeker Circle. So I would definitely want to take this opportunity to take a pledge. So today, in front of my fellow founders, institute directors, friends and family, I would like to take the pledge that I will be growing Job Seeker Circle to a 10,000 member community in the next 6 months. I'll be doing this by showing up every day, tired or not tired, and with the intent to help job seekers find the right professional network and ultimately to the jobs that they deserve. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, my fellow founders, mentors, and more importantly, Benjamin and Paul, who have truly supported me in this journey. I'll be forever grateful. Thank you.